Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world's famous juggler, Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
I'm great, and I'm noticing the ghost of championships past in the background there.
We just not.
I had the same joke ready to go.
How are you doing, Ozzy?
Next week we'll find out if the results of my championship. So we'll leave that conversation for that time. Also, with this Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd? Chilling. Yep, there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this week, very excited to be reviewing and discussing the film Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit, Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, starring Sacha Baron Cohen. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Let's take a look.
Young Shamash, my name is Borat. I'm journalist for Kazakhstan. My government sent me to USA to make a movie film. Please, you look. Hello, nice to meet you. I'm new in town. Wait, what to say hello? Hello, my name is Borat. I'm new in town.
Careful, hey, bye. Welcome to our country, okay?
My name is Borat.
Okay, good. Well, I'm not used to that, but that's fine.
What is a nut, jokes?
A not joke, I would say, that suit is black. Not.
This suit is not black.
No, not has to be the end.
Okay. This suit is black nut.
This suit is black. Pause. You know what a pause is?
Yes. This suit is black.
Okay. I'm not
Not. Can I say we support your war of terror? Kazakhstan is the greatest country in the world.
I think that the cultural differences are vast.
Exactly.
And I think he's a delightful man, and it wouldn't take very much time for him to really become Americanized.
You want to have a drink?
You can't drink, damn.
I like you peoples. How can I be like you? What's up, vanilla face? Is it not a problem that a woman have a smaller brain than a man?
That's it. Okay.
We're finished. We have to leave.
Very nice. How much? She is your wife?
Nope, that's my wife.
In my country, they would go crazy.
Oh, my.
For these two, not so much. Please, you come see my film. If it's not success, I will be executed.
Whew. Yep, those are tears. Tears of joy. That it was the trailer for Borat, released on November 3rd, 2006, rated R, runtime of 84 minutes. Directed by Larry Charles, also in that Curb Seinfeld group. Also a screenplay, rather, by Sacha Baron Cohen, Anthony Hines, Peter Bainham, and Dan Mazer. Now, while Sacha Baron Cohen, Anthony Hines, and Peter Bainham also came up with a story, as well as Todd Phillips, which I found was interesting. Todd Phillips being tied to this movie. But, of course, the character Sacha Baron Cohen created spawned off Ali G. I'm not too familiar. Todd, do you have any insight on that you could share? You
Yes,
love
I do.
Ali G.
I do.
That's got to be right up your alley.
Yeah. On the Ali G show, it was basically you'd get your Ali G skits where he'd interview, politicians or whatever. And you'd have the same with Borat, but like every episode you'd have Ali G and he'd host, kind of talk showish. But then you'd either get a Borat or you get I forget the other character that probably Bruno. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it was mostly Borat. So even there's a couple of little skits they kind of redo on the bigger stage in this too. But yeah, he was pretty regular on the show. Only ran a couple seasons. There's actually an Ollie G movie also, which has a Borat cameo. Yeah.
All righty.
So sorry. There you go. There's some of the show info.
So kick off initial thoughts, or continue rather, initial thoughts on this. Around the time this came out, I was going to actually, I got my ears crossed. I got my movies crossed. Never mind what I was about to say, but just gonna jump in initial thoughts here. I hadn't seen this when it came out in the theaters because I didn't know what to expect. And also the person I was dating at the time wasn't really a fan of
comedy.
I think this kind. I think there's some stuff that would be like we had to walk out of Pineapple Express. So
yeah. Oof.
Anyhow,
hey, but they got the hotel room scene for the lady, so you might have made it through.
Right. Now this is actually a DVD I had purchased off the strong recommendation off my sister that I purchased the DVD because I'm going to be wanting to watch it multiple times. This came out at a time that streaming was not a thing, so the only way to watch things multiple times was with the DVD. So that's what I was able to grab here. But just to jump in, I mean, again, tons of favorite moments, so I don't feel the need to go first here. Greg?
Yeah, favorite moments?
Yeah.
Man.
Or wait, did we finish initial thoughts yet?
I don't think we did.
Or did I jump ahead? I apologize. I jumped ahead.
I mean, yeah, Todd talked about Ali G. Initial thoughts on this was I didn't remember a lot from this movie. I think I'd only seen it in bits and pieces when a friend or something was watching it. I don't think I'd seen it in its entirety. I'd heard a lot about it, and I didn't really understand the concept of the movie. All I heard was that it was like outrageous, and but then I saw some more of his films, and I was like, okay, this is one I got to go back to because I understand who he is and what his comedy is. And yeah, I remember enjoying this before, but I think I enjoyed it even more now. So, and I think that this movie, I am curious within, like, at what point in time does he let the people he's around know, hey, this is a joke? Like, do these people sign a waiver of like, hey, I'm gonna be on this guy's show, and that's the end of it? Do they get told, hey, after the segment, they're like, hey, we were messing with you,
I may have an answer to that question.
Yeah.
So in the trailer, we saw a scene where he was singing the national anthem. He was singing Kazakhstan's national anthem in the tune of the Star Spangled Banner.
Right.
And there's also a conversation he has with the rodeo.
Yes.
Yeah, which was very like, wow, this is a little awkward, but it's a great. I think it's a great time capsule kind of piece, at least.
See, today.
In the special features on the DVD, it has the global PR tour of the movie, and that includes talk shows like on Cohen, Jay Leno, and also news spots. And one of the news spots was where that rodeo took place, and it shows the news piece that covered that whole gimmick. And what's funny is that they cut real quick after he was talking about, we support your war of terror. Because, like you heard cheers in the movie, right. The news piece cut off right after that. So you couldn't hear the cheers, right?
No.
Yeah. And what's funny is they talked to the rodeo owner after, and apparently they told him that it was his dream to sing the national anthem at a sporting event. And he was a rush, but then they actually interviewed the guy afterward. He's like, I never want to see that guy again. And just, he could have been playing it up, like for theatrics, but I don't know, like considering what was said in the conversation, I'm not sure if that might've been the case.
Right, because obviously, like, I don't think that guy would have been like, "Oh, this is going out as a major motion picture. I really want that image of me in front of the world," you know. So yeah, it's curious. But then I think maybe with the news people, because that scene was a bit more tame. Like I could see him letting them in on the joke afterwards. So
Sure.
it just I really want to know the makeup of this whole situation because it's so unique for what he is.
Right.
Definitely a lot easier to pull off then.
Yeah.
And then the sequel, you saw they had to go a totally different way.
Right. Todd, did you have any other initial thoughts before we get into some of these favorite moments?
No, I was already a fan of the concept going in, and I like that kind of style of comedy. I know it's been done quite a bit more now, but you're kind of like intermixing like real things happening with your kind of storyline because you have your your Pamela storyline trying to get to her, and then you have like him just interacting with real people.
Right. Before we jump into the funniest moments here, which Greg, I'll have you kick off, but I just wanted to say that there's a scene in the trailer where it shows a location of it was like a dining society scene where they're all having dinner at a table before he invites Linnell, his prostitute date.
Yes.
That house was located on Secession Drive. I just thought that was amusing.
Of course.
Greg?
So, man, there's so many to choose from. And so, but I have to say, this really got me, as in mentally got me, because it wasn't that this was a fantastic joke, but the concept of this scene just makes me so happy. The scene in the trailer where he is talking to a guy who's teaching how to make jokes and be funny. The fact that this comedic genius is like playing this guy, and you wonder, like, is this guy sitting there at times going, am I being had? Because these are great jokes. Like, if this is intentional, this is fantastic. So I just that whole idea that it's a comedian learning comedy is and the guy's just unaware is fantastic.
Todd?
Well, I think it should be fairly obvious. I'll just ask Greg, do you know what my favorite bit was?
Was it the hotel room scene?
No, Ozzy, do you know what my favorite bit was?
There's a deleted scene that I know would be your favorite. Well, I think I might have clouded the judgment, but was it
hold on. Oh, go ahead.
I think it might have been towards the end with the permission not necessary. I thought.
Well, that's a good one too, but
yeah, right.
Well, one more go, because this was on my list, but like are you trying to tell me that the man who tried to put a rubber fist in my anus was a homosexual?
Now I kind of want to change it. No, my favorite bit, it makes me laugh so much. Borat just learning about consent and the way it works in America.
Oh, yeah.
Should have been obvious.
Yeah.
It's just like, what do you, these are insane ideas.
It's obvious for me. I mean, from the first time I saw it, and then again next time I saw it, this time rather, it's always been that fight scene, the naked fight scene, that always gets me every single time.
Yeah,
and could not be done now. At least with the elevator scene.
No.
That no way that would fly. But
it's funny
that just
that
gets me
scene,
every single time. So
I had to after seeing it, I looked at my wife and go, I have to show you this scene. And I wasn't sure how it was gonna go.
She'd never seen the movie?
No, not that one. She saw the sequel.
Oh, okay.
And her reaction was, I kind of want to see the rest of the movie.
The extra large dong blur is even better. Too.
Yes.
It's just flopping blur. There's so much good stuff.
It's pretty obvious. It's going to be a 5 for me.
Yeah.
like Mega 5, where like I almost would, after seeing the trailer, I would want to jump into this again. But you mentioned the sequel, I might just jump into the sequel. But
and then
definitely.
there is that other sequel-ish one that's like culled from all the deleted scenes of the first or the second movie. There's like 2 extra little.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't seen those.
You got a lot of Borat content.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, same here. It's a 5 easily. I mean, and as I mentioned, I told my wife she needs to see that scene. Her reaction was, "I want to watch the rest of it." So, about a half hour before we started recording, I started the movie over again because I was more than happy to watch a little bit of that again. So, yeah, 5 hands down.
Fighting this one, and not. I'll tell you why later. It's an easy 5 for me.
So why are you fighting?
I don't want to say it because I'm going to jinx it. I'll say it as we leave.
Okay. So before we do leave, I want to get into the DVD here because I do think it's worth seeking out if you are a fan of this movie. Granted, it is available on HBO Max, or you can get it digitally. But one of the great things, so this is the sleeve for the DVD, right? Everything is in English here, right? Basic, whatnot. But then the inside, the actual cover of it, this is all in Kazakhstan. Now, what's funny is that this color is supposed to be green right here, so it's messing with my green screen. But all this is in a foreign, like all this in what would be Kazakhstani or the Kazakhstan language. And then, of course, you get the disc is that's going to be difficult to see, but it basically looks like a burned DVD with just Borat written in Sharpie.
I love it. It looks, I pop so hard for that.
It's such a great, like, you open it and you're like, this is what we're getting into. And then in terms of the deleted scenes, I mean, it's interesting. It has a runtime of 84 minutes. So when it gets into the deleted scenes, and I'm thinking like, these are some great, like 2-3 minute scenes. I'm curious why they cut some of these out. Some obvious why they cut them out. Some not so obvious. Like there were some policing scenes where they would get pulled over a couple times, and being asked like what's going on, and they just the interactions. I guess maybe that I talk about it again, not so humorous in retrospect. But one thing in the PR tour, because it includes deleted scenes, PR tour, and the music infomercial. But the global PR tour includes talk show spots, his interview on Cohen as Borat, right? Where he actually tries to take Conan's pubis hair. Because pubis hair is Kazakhstan's third major export.
Well, they tried to take care of a couple payments.
Exactly. So, and he had said, Borat, that the pubic hair is reused to be cleaned or cleaning on pots and pans as like steel wool.
Oh.
And then he says it can also be used to make knit for sweaters for children. And he asks, is your pubis hair red? And then that led to a moment, and Cohen played it great because Cohen didn't try to match his absurdity. Cohen just played it like as though he was the talk show host and just let Borat be Borat, right? He let that character be his character. The Jay Leno spot was a little tougher to watch because Jay was trying to match, as was the second guest, Martha Stewart. So you had now Sacha Baron Cohen trying to be more ridiculous than these two that are trying to match his level, which was great. So they were trying to teach Borat how to make a bed, right? So of course there was the ongoing gag.
God, this just sounds like horrible
it was
TV
talk
show nonsense, and that's what makes it
really
awesome.
tough. It was really tough to watch, but he made it work. Like he pulls up a sheet. Oh, Martha, I see a stain. Naughty. Right?
And there we go. We lost it. I was gonna say when I was fighting to say it, we made it through this whole thing with that bad Borat impression. And there we go.
No, but that wasn't intended to be like, oh, this is me. I'm only telling about what happened on the. Yeah, but I mean, like, what? How else would I tell the story?
Like in your voice.
No, whatever. You're being lame.
Not.
But again, so definitely worth getting the DVD. Also has plenty of the news spots of him, news interviews, or rather being interviewed at several spots, and just each time hilarious. And also another spot that was shown at the film festivals. Once particular at the Toronto Film Festival, where as soon as it shows the screening, as soon as it gets into the where he's being explained how to tell jokes or whatnot, the projector kind of like looks like it just messes up, right? Then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, our projector's having technical difficulties right now. Please stand by, to find out if we can continue this." And then like it shows the next clip. "We're sorry, we're not going to be able to continue this. We unfortunately we're having technical difficulties with the projector." And Michael Moore is on stage with Larry Charles, the director of the movie. And Michael Moore says, "I've screened 6 movies here, and I've never heard of anything like this happening with any other movie." So it was kind of cool for him to call that out like that. But and Borat was also there in character saying that, okay, I'm not going to do this in his voice because I don't want to offend anybody.
I was
basically saying everybody's going to get their money back, right? Because if not, I'm going to crush you. See, it sounds so stupid when I do it in a regular voice.
I know. I wasn't saying like for being offending anyone. I was just like the whole bad Borat voice we finally got is done away with, for it seems like. But you want to do it.
I do have to say one thing.
I feel like doing it every time
with this movie that I did notice, like how far people will go in their job for people, because like the driving instructor being like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be your boyfriend," and then the car salesman who's like, "All right, this is a question. How fast do you have to drive to kill a gypsy?" Like the fact that he was like, "Whatever I got to do to make a sale." Like talk about like a weird feeling of what we do for our jobs.
I think those the point of part of it was to like get to a point where you can point all this stuff out, No,
for sure.
And I'm sorry, I'm just going back to the notes here. There's also a deleted scene of him, a doctor's visit. This is one. Was I surprised that it didn't make it in the final cut? Was the doc actually? I'm sorry, not the doctor's office. He applied for a bank loan at one point, and he says, "What can you use for collateral?" And he says, "I'll let you have my sister for 6 months." And you can use her, for if you want, since we only accept U.S. currency. And he asks what country he's from. He says Kazakhstan, and he says Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan. He called it Kazakhstan. The banker did. But the doctor's office probably would be good for, I guess, an unrated cut. I imagine, because there was a lot of things said there that I cannot repeat in good conscience. But definitely, again, go out, seek the DVD if this is your kind of gimmick. So 5s from all of us. Again, available on HBO Max if you want to check it out right now. It's available there right now. Again, of course, you could check justwatch.com for any other places that it's available. So, you guys have anything else before we head out for the evening?
No, I don't.
Definitely go buy this movie, man. That's all. This is and then go watch the sequel.
And no asterisk needed.
Yeah, but seriously, seek out these deleted scenes. If you're not one like, I don't feel like getting the DVD, try to seek them out if you can find these clips online of deleted scenes, the PR tour, all worth checking out if you were a fan of the movie. So that was the review and discussion of Borat. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. And that is world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd. And I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.